Hello everyone, welcome to the KJG Helping You Build a Better Business webinar series. We have a few webinars that we are recording for you on the topic of corporate finance. So today we will be looking at the sellability of your business or anyone else's for that matter. How sellable your business is to another party, whoever that party is, individual, corporate, national, international, or equity type investor, is driven essentially by a combination of 10 things. And here they are. I'll just move my face out of the way. There we are. So we'll just take these in the order that they are listed here, and they're all very straightforward in isolation. First is historic growth. Obviously, the stronger the growth that your business has achieved historically, the more likely you are to be able to sell it. Secondly, projected growth, building on the first item. To the extent that you can convince potential buyers of your business or investors in it that the future is strong and has a strong growth story that is reasonably achievable, likely to be achievable, the easier it will be to sell your business. Third item, customer payment terms. This is basically how quickly your customers or clients are paying you. The ideal scenario, of course, as we know, is to be paid in advance of doing anything, providing any service or producing any product. Very unusual, of course, but to the extent that customers are paying earlier rather than later, and even if it, as is normal, is after goods have been provided, the quicker you're generally paid, obviously the better. Fourth item, your business planning process. This is an area which is sadly overlooked all too often. To the extent that you are planning in your business and looking at different scenarios that may arise, and having a plan as to how to deal with them, the better it will be in the eyes of a potential purchaser of the business. One particular area as regards this business planning process category is as regards forecasts, and again, even more particularly, cash flow forecasts. Cash is king, as we know, and it is amazing the number of businesses that do not have any planning at all in the business for a base case cash flow forecast scenario, and that will obviously help in any discussions with potential purchasers. Partly because it shows good business practice, but partly because they can use that as an input into their evaluation of the business as a target for the buyer. Item 5, customer concentration. Obviously, the less concentration in your customer or client base, the better. We recently sold a business where the key customer made up around 70% of the customer base. We still managed to sell the business. However, that was not as easy a scenario as it would have been if the major customer, the largest customer, had been a percentage of the total of, say, 7% rather than 70%. Less concentration, the better. Item 6, shareholder involvement. Now, this is a very tricky area and one that trips many business owners up. If I had £1 for every time a business owner had said to me, I'd like to sell my business, and when asked the question, how involved are you in the day-to-day, the answer comes back, oh, virtually not at all, I would have a lot of pounds. Sadly, the truth of the matter is that naturally enough, business owners in the owner-managed business area in particular are, of course, involved in the business and its operation. So as regards the potential sale of your business, it is always worth beginning to engineer a situation where the shareholders who are looking to sell's involvement is reduced and can be handled by the activities they have undertaken historically, can actually realistically be undertaken by the rest of the management team, which we will come on to in just a moment. This needs to be the true position, because a buyer of a business, needless to say, will probe very deeply as regards the extent to which the business is dependent upon the shareholders' day-to-day or key involvement in the business. Item 7, product, service, or service customization. The more customized the product that your business is providing to each customer, the harder it is for a buyer of the business to deal with the business that you actually undertake. So the generalization, again, is that the less customization across your customer base, the better or easier it is as regards a potential sale of the business. Item 8, customer purchasing frequencies. The more often that your customers are buying from you, the better, on the basis that you have more interaction and there is less likelihood of them revisiting their supplier if they are in the habit of purchasing from you very regularly. So the more frequent customers purchase from you as a general rule, the more sellable your business. Item 9 hooks back into item 6 on shareholder involvement that we talked about earlier, and item 9 is management team strength. To the extent that a business owner or owners can show that the management team that is in place is strong and can run the business on a day-to-day basis, and preferably has some handle, at least some handle, on strategic direction, etc., the better. So the stronger the management team in the business, obviously the more sellable the business will be. Finally, item 10, employee turnover. Here, the ideal is obviously for minimal levels of employee turnover. The more turnover that takes place in the business, generally speaking, more employee turnover, that takes place in the business, generally speaking, the more difficult it is to manage the business. On all of these 10 items, as you will have heard, they are all reasonably general. They all tie in with each other in some way, and what we are looking for is not an ideal position as regards all 10 items or areas, but rather a blend across them that maximizes the sellability of your business. So what we are trying to achieve is a position where if there are likely issues in any of these 10 areas that could affect the sellability of your business, we work with you to address them as best can be done prior to the discussions with potential purchasers. So that's a quick run through, and obviously we are, as always, delighted to have any conversations that might be worthwhile with you or your contacts concerning the sellability of their business. Thanks very much for watching, and take care.